Hi there, FMCampbe here, and welcome to what is the first update of the Trophy Hunt Challenge. Obviously, as you know, it's between myself and TikiTakaMaster. TikiTakaMaster's channel link will be in the description below, so take a look at his channel, as he will be doing regular updates as well. So, as you know, we took hold of Chelsea, and over 2 seasons, we're going to see who can win the most amount of trophies between us. So it's kind of like a competition. So the first thing we'll look at, as most people would want to know, is who have we brought in. So we'll have a look now. First of all, actually, we'll look at who we sold, just to sort of describe how much we've sold and for what reasons. So looking at 28.93 million that we've made, but there is actually more than that, but I will let you know. We've had a number of youth players that we've let go, the fringe players that are pretty much not worth anything, so I've let them all go on freeze. First players first is we let Marco van Ginkel go. Obviously he's a good prospect, but over 2 seasons I'm not really looking to build for the future, so I let him go out on loan. They're paying all of his wages, so it's just to get him off the wage bill. I think I'll be able to get double that value next season, so that was the main sort of reason behind that. Instead of me getting 5 million now, I could probably go and get 10 to 15 next season. That will probably help me out and just sort of strengthen my squad for next season. So that's one of the reasons why I got rid of him on loan. Kevin De Bruyne went for 22 million. I simply just couldn't turn down that amount of money. He was worth, I think, 4 or 5 million at the time, and for 22 million, of someone that I'm going to use, I'm not going to use because he's only 22. To get him off the wage bill, and for 22 million, I was laughing really. So that's why I let him go. The next one was Omareo again. 4.1 million value. That's actually gone up $1 million since it's gone out on loan. So hopefully I can get rid of him for a little bit more money next season. Same case with Bertrand Traore. Zuccolini I actually signed on a free. He is available on a free at the beginning of the season. Just a little bit of a business one, I think, this one. He's never going to be first team. He's probably never going to be in my first team squad. But he only wanted 18 grand a week, and for 22 years old, determination of 18. And he's just an all-round good centre midfielder. Got him out on loan, then paying all of his wages. So hopefully I can get a little bit of money for him in the future. Moving on to Nathan Aki, Loftus-Cheek, Farouz, Christensen, McEachran, Houghton, Beanie, Blackman, Chalabar, all went out on loan. Again, they're all youth players. We're just looking to perhaps make a little bit of money on them in the future. Especially as a lot of them are English, they are normally about double the value. Next one was Michael Essien. Now the Essien deal obviously he's on 68 grand a week, and they're paying all of that. So Monaco just to take advantage of him on loan. Plus he is injury prone, which is something that I tend to not like on FM. Any injury prone players I tend to get rid of, because I just can't be dealing with paying them money while they're injured. It's just a bit of a waste. He is actually on a loan to buy, so if I believe this right, that at the end of the season he will be paid. They will be paying 2 million, so it's 2 million for next season, which is great. So for all that money, it's brilliant. Milosevic is again someone that I signed. I actually signed him for 350 grand, and he joined us straight away, and he was actually worth 1.2 million, and he's gone up 300k since going on loan to Nottingham Forest, which is good. He's a young centre-back. He's got good potential, good determination. His strength could do a bit of working on. But again, it's a money maker. Hopefully I can make about 5 million out of him at the, next season. We'll have to wait and see. Conroy, Baker, again, they're loan deals for youth players. Fernando Torres, he's on loan, but for 175 grand a week for a player I don't want, I just had to get rid of him. He is only on loan. I think they're paying 80% of his wage. It might be less than that actually. So they're paying 105 grand a week, and they've got an agreed price of 2 million again. But I know I'm still paying him 50. That's what's he on. So 70 grand a week. But it saved me 100 grand a week, so I can put that towards something else. And plus there's an agreed fee of him leaving next season, so I'm definitely going to lose that next season, which is good. Demba Ba, injury prone player, as you can see, natural fitness is 7. I know he is only 28. He's gone out on loan. They're paying all of his wages, and they've got an agreed price of £10 million. So all this money that's going to be available next season should help me strengthen next season. There's a couple of targets I looked at for next season already. Where are we? John Obi Mikel. I know he is good on Football Manager, but he's just not a player I'm not a fan of. And he wanted a lot of money. I guess you can see he's on 100 grand a week at Monaco. So yeah, but for £7 million, it just gave me a chance to strengthen in other areas with the money. He's someone that I probably wasn't ever going to use, to be honest, and the players that I've brought in are better than him. So it was a good bit of business in the end, I believe. Billy Clifford, Kusa Luka, and Kiwon Ya. Same with Kalas as well. All gone out on loan. Again, they're all just potential money makers. Branislav Ivanovic, 29. He's slightly injury prone. He's on 60 grand a week, and they're paying all of that. And I believe that there's an agreed price, of £8 million. So for 29-year-old, £8 million, who was a second choice right back more than anything, who I would play him centre back, but I've got better choices in there now. For 29 years old, that's injury prone, 60 grand a week, and I'm not paying any of that. Then it's with an agreed price of 8 million, which is just superb. Which is, I think that's a good bit of business. So yeah, as you can see, although it does say 28.93 million, there is actually about another 20 million in there as well, plus about 25 actually, that will be made next season, or during the loan deals if the club choose to. So we'll move on to the players that we brought in. So as you know, I've already explained the Milosevic and Zuccolini deals. They're just money makers. See what we can get for them next season, especially as they're Zuccolini's at Inter Milan, and Milosevic, although he's at Forest, it should bring his price up anyway, because I think they'll be fighting for promotion. So we'll look at Matteo Musacchio, coming from Villarreal for only £2 million, which was a bargain because he's a very good centre back all round. Plus he's only young. So if I wanted to sell him next season and bring in someone better, then there's always that option to do so. He's only 3-star, but this in comparison to the Oscars and the Matters that are already in the team, and Eden Hazard's. So he's probably my 3rd or 4th choice centre back. But for that price, you can't go wrong, really. Essentially what Branislav Ivanovic would have been if I'd have kept him. So I'm happy with that. Julio Cesar I signed on a free. He's just a second choice goalkeeper in case Petr Cech gets injured at all. I wasn't really a fan of Schwarzer or Hilario, they haven't managed to get rid of either of them, unfortunately, but they're just sitting in the reserves and they will be going at the end of the season anyway. So for a second choice goalkeeper, I was pretty happy with that on a free, on only 18 grand a week. That's not too bad. Plus he's only 26, so again a money maker if I wanted to do so. Bargain of the century, Lewandowski. I know he goes on a free at the end of the season, but this is to avoid all cases of fighting with the Bayern Munichs, the Man Cities of this world that can throw money at him. So I've got Robert Lewandowski, and I got him for 20 million, so he's already worth 28.5. He's one of the best strikers on the game at the moment. It just needs a little bit of work on his composure, then that would be great, which I am working on at the moment. But for £20 million, to be my first choice striker of his stature and level, I think is quite good. So £20 million is a bit of a bargain, I suppose. Another bargain, Sami Khedira. He was my replacement for Mikel. He's just superb all round, and for 14 million, you can't go wrong really. Just work on his strength a little bit if I want to use him as a defensive midfielder, and his passing. And his first touch. They're the three that I'm trying to work on. But 14 million, already value of 18.225, and he's 26 years old. Claudio Jakob, brought him in for a little bit of cover. Obviously he's a defensive midfielder, but he can play centre midfield, he is natural in there. So for 11 million, it's an absolute bargain again. His marking and tackling are good. So if I want to use him as a defensive midfielder, I can. Plus only on 60 grand a week. Which beats what SCN was on. So I've replaced well for what I've got rid of. Just to make your point, Kusa Luka I found on a free. I just had a little bit of an epiphany, and I thought, why don't I just have a look, see who's available on a free and if I can make any money. Signed him on a free. He's only on a grand at 1,800 a week. Sorry. His value is already 521k. Plus he's 21. So I sent him out on loan. So hopefully he can get his value up a little bit, and we can see what we can do with him at the end of the season. Ben Davies, I wasn't a massive fan of Ryan Bertrand. but I was quite sort of conscious to bring in some homegrown players, especially for registration. So I was quite looking forward to bringing him in. He is 20 years old and he was quite expensive, 10.5 million. So perhaps we'll look into it. But I have used Ben Davies and other saves before, and he's always performed well. He's played one game for us so far, out rating of 7.3. That's just because I wanted to rest Ashley Cole. Next we brought in Javier Pastor. My idea here was, he's obviously a very good player. He's a first team player. So I looked at him to play in first team on the left. And basically I wanted a choice to have him on the left, or Schürrle. And I wanted to train Eden Hazard on the right as an inside forward. So I could have him or Schürrle, Pastor or Schürrle on the left, Eden Hazard on the right, and then or Oscar, or well, sorry, Eden Hazard or Willian, I suppose, on the right, and then Oscar or Mata in the middle. So that was the reason why I brought him in. People probably say, why have you brought him when you've got Hazard? I actually want to play the two of them, and Eden Hazard can already naturally play right midfield or attacking right mid. So to train him there will be a little bit better. Next one we looked at, Nathaniel Klein, again English, so I was quite conscious to bring in British players for registration. He's just a good youth player. I could make some money on him, although it was £10 million, but he is English, so it's double the value anyway. Signing from Southampton. It's just a second choice to Dave or Azpilicueta. So that was the reason I brought him in. Next we'll look at the tactic I'm playing. So as you can see here, I play with a 4-2-3-1 formation, with 2 ball-winning centre midfielders and then 3 advanced midfielders, or inside forwards, which I'll explain. It is very much a 4-3-3 in a way. What I was looking to do really is, because Pastor and Hazard are inside forwards, they tend to come in here and they come in to support Lewandowski as much as possible. So it does allow Ashley Cole and Azpilicueta to get forward and overlap, which is one of the things that I do in my team instructions. And because they overlap, the left and the wing back, I do need defensive midfielders to come in here. So I have Khedira, who's a box-to-box, who gets forward and back as much as possible, and Ramirez, who's a ball-winning midfielder. So he just tends to sit slightly deeper. And in their international, and in their personal player instructions, I do have them to sort of sit deeper a little bit. And I have Mata, who I tend to play in the trequartista role or the enganche. I tend to just let him sort of have a freelance sort of roaming role where he can just support wherever he wants to. Obviously we know that Mata is just ridiculously good. So I'm quite key to let him play where he wants, I suppose, and then just support everyone. Obviously, you've got Petr Cech in goal, which is a no-brainer. He's just a good first-team keeper. He does go on a free in a lot of saves. He doesn't sign the contract. Whether that's due to his age, I'm not sure, but he's still a very, very good keeper. Ashley Cole as well. Again, he's getting on with age, but them stats, them physical stats, and the mental, his strength is a little bit lower than what I would have thought it would have been. But there we go. Azpilicueta is a good right back as well. He's just all round, plus he's young, and he's Spanish, which is great, so they get forward quite a lot. So yeah, basically, I just encourage the defence, these centre midfielders, Khedira and Ramirez, to support the centre backs as much as possible, allowing Cole and Azpilicueta to get forward when Hazard and Pastor stepped inside. And yeah, so that pretty much sums it up. Substitute-wise, I have Jakob to cover Khedira, and then Lampard to cover Ramirez, and they can sort of, between the four of them, I interchange them quite a lot, just to encourage match conditions and things like that, and to stop any injuries. Eto'o is my cover for Lewandowski. I don't have a third striker, but obviously Andre Schürrle can play there, so if I ever did need him to, I can always play him there. But predominantly Schürrle is my cover for Pastor. Then I have Hazard on the right, of who I can either play Willian or Oscar behind. and similar sort of situation with Mata, I can play Willian or Oscar in there as well. So they can all interchange with each other as well, because Hazard can play on the left. So if I did ever have problems with Pastor on the left, I can always play Hazard there. Centre backs, I have John Terry and Louise are my first choice. But obviously I have Masaccio, who I brought in, who's injured at the moment. He's out for another 2 weeks. So I have Masaccio, who can play in there, and also, as you know, Gary Cahill, which he's on the bench at the moment, so he can come in as well. On the left, obviously, we've got Ashley Cole, but then we've got Ben Davies, as you know, I've brought in to cover. And then, if Azpilicueta has problems, which he is injured at the moment, Nathaniel Klein would step in. Good thing about Nathaniel Klein as well is if Azpilicueta and Cole have problems, and Davies, if you like, I can play Klein at left back as well, which is great news to have cover at both sides and a little bit of depth. I did try to get rid of Bertrand, but no one wanted him, and people that did make bids for him, he actually turned down. He turned down Sunderland twice and Fulham, just due to the wage situation, and then no one wanted him on loan. So I've just kept him in there. It's a little bit more depth, I suppose, if I needed him. Plus he can play up the whole left hand side. So for the sort of lesser games, if I ever need to rest players, then these are the great cover that I have. Obviously you know about Julio Cesar, who I've got as cover for Petr Cech. So next we'll look at the results. I started very, very well. I was quite shocked. I think everything just sort of fell into place, but we have had an easier start in the Premier League especially. Friendly wise, just to let you know, I tend not to play these myself. I leave these to my assistant manager, who basically I just need him to deal with match fitness and tactics as much as possible, and just sort of break the new players in as well. Obviously having such a drastic amount of players coming in and going out, it tends to play with the team morale and the match preparation and sort of how used to the tactic the players are as a team. So I tend to work on that as much as possible to sort of encourage players to get used to the system that I play. So we started off at Crystal Palace away. We won 4-0. John Terry, Mata, Khedira and Oscar were the 4 goals. They did have someone sent off though in the 42nd minute, so that kind of helped out a little bit. But 58% of possession away, 22 shots against who are probably one of our rivals, Crystal Palace. So a little bit of a London derby. Azpilicueta getting man of the match, playing very well on the right hand side. Unfortunately Lewandowski didn't do too great, so I did have to bring on Eto'o in the end. In the next game, again another 4-0 result. We played Aston Villa away again. A good result. Matt Lowton was injured in the 47th minute, so just before half time. But we were 3-0 up before half time anyway. And then Pastor got a 86th minute 4th goal. So the other goals are Willian, Ashley Cole and David Luiz. And we did get 2 penalties as well. And then Azpilicueta was also injured, so in come Nathaniel Klein. Ashley Cole was the man of the match. As you could probably guess, being a left back and scoring, that normally means on Football Manager that they get a man of the match. Bit of a closer result at home against Norwich. Again, Ashley Cole with the goal. Which again, like I said, normally if a defender gets a goal, especially a wing back, then they tend to be the player that gets selected for man of the match. It's just the way the game works, unfortunately. But we did dominate, 66% possession, 24 shots on goals, only 7 on target, which is a bit of a shame. It's probably what reflects on the result itself. And then Lampard missed a penalty, which is unlike him, in the 86th minute. And the big result that I had against Bayern in the Super Cup final. So it's the winner of the Europa League against the winner of the Champions League for last season. So first trophy. So 4 games in and we've already got a trophy, which is great news. So that'll add to the total at the end of the 2 seasons. As you can see, a lot of bookings. It was quite a 50-50 game. I dominated in possession. Well, I say dominated, I slightly dominated in possession. Only having 4 more shots than them, but having 6 more on target than them. Fouls again pretty equal. Yellow cards pretty equal. So it was quite a tight game. Dante getting the man of the match for them. Perhaps that reflected on the game itself. I did tend to be sort of in their half a little bit more, as you can see, than them. but a lot of the ball play was played down the middle. There was a lot of breaking each other down, counter-attacking football that was defended well, and it actually went to penalties in the end. The penalty shootout, Schweinsteiger, Robben, Lahm, Dante got their goals, and then Cole, David Luiz, Pastore, Mata and Lewandowski. So all my penalties were scored, and all but one for Bayern, who Mandzukic missed their penalty. It was actually saved by Julio Cesar, believe it or not, as we had an injury to Petr Cech, so it was great for him to come in and make the save. And then Lewandowski, ironically, playing against the club that he's gone to in real life, scored the winner. So it's quite a 50-50 even game, went right to the end, right to the last kick of the game, right to the last penalty of the game, and Lewandowski fortunately managed to put it away for us. So the next update, just to let you know, will be on February, I think it's February the 2nd, so it will be right down, where are we? Here, so between the Man City and the West Ham game. That will be our next update. So that will sum up of how the season's gone up to that point. As you can see, we've got quite a number of fixtures during that time. And it will also be a little sum up of what happens in the January transfer window if any players are bought. So we'll look at the league. As you can see, we're second in the league, joint with Man United on pretty much everything. 9 points apiece. We've both won 3 games. The only reason Man United are higher than us is because they scored 2 more, but they've conceded 2. We haven't conceded a game yet this season, and we're the only team to not do so in the league. So that's good news. So hopefully we can continue like that. But we do have a couple of big games coming up soon. Player ratings wise, as you can see, Ashley Cole, Azpilicueta and David Luiz are the 3 best average ratings so far in the country. So hopefully we'll continue to do that. I'd like to get someone in the top goal scorers. Normally a club that's at the top have got someone in the top goal scorers. So hopefully when we get Lewandowski used to the routine, we can start getting him some goals. But yeah, so like I said, that's pretty much everything that's happened so far. Next season, obviously, as you know, will be the the next update will be the 2nd of February, so the end of the January transfer window, and just to sum up of halfway through the season, or just over halfway, and we can just go through what's happened and how I'm getting on, especially as the cup continues. The cup competitions will come into aspect of it as well, so we'll look at the FA Cup and the League Cup. I think the League Cups are the finals around then anyway, so hopefully we'll be reporting on that still. And obviously the Champions League, which is coming soon. So that's the point. While we think about the Champions League, if I go to the Champions League, let's have a look at it. Where are you? I got quite a nice group, as you can see. PSV, CSKA Moscow and Maribor. So yeah, that's the first update completed. Don't forget to take a look at the Twitter channel. So it's at FMCampbe. Also have a look at TikiTakaMaster channel. All these links are in the description below. So check all that out. Regular updates and regular discussions and different things right across the whole sort of look of FM will be looked at in there. So go follow us there. Please like and subscribe. Share with your friends. All the support is really as much appreciated as possible. I'm trying to interact with you guys as much as possible. Hence why me and TikiTakaMaster thought this would be quite a good idea. Just to sort of, it's something that I've never seen before between 2 channels and 2 players. Obviously we've seen it in online games and stuff like that, but to play separately against each other is quite a bit of fun. So like I said, I am FMCampbe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next update.